Hello and welcome to the programme. We start in Germany, where the leader of the Social Democrats has set out his plans to build a coalition after his party won the most votes in the parliamentary election. Olaf Scholz says he intends to work with the Greens and Liberal Free Democrats. But there's much negotiating to be done, and Chancellor Angela Merkel will stay in charge until the way forward becomes clear. Now, according to the German Electoral Commission, the centre-left SPD are on 25.7%, with the centre-right Conservatives, SDU and SCU, on 24.1% of the votes. Now, to form a majority of seats in the parliament, they'd each need at least two partners. As we said, the Greens and the Liberal Free Democrats will now be the kingmakers. Our Germany correspondent Jenny Hill reports from Berlin.
The morning after the night before, and Germany still has no idea who'll be its next chancellor. This man, it seems, has won the election, but Social Democrat Olaf Scholz will have to form a coalition government if he wants the keys to the chancellery. This morning, he was in a determined mood. Angela Merkel's Conservatives, he said, haven't just lost a lot of votes, they've also had a message from the people. They should no longer be in government, they should go into opposition. But the CDU aren't going down without a fight. Their leader, Armin Laschet, may have come second, but if he can form a coalition, he could still become Chancellor. Last night, he was on pugnacious form.
We will do everything to create a government led by the CDU, because Germany needs a coalition for the future that modernizes our country.
Germany's Game of Thrones has begun. Both the Conservatives and the Social Democrats will most likely try to form a coalition with the same two parties, the Greens and the Free Democrats. Their leaders are having a whale of a time, relishing their role as kingmakers in this election. The Greens would probably prefer a coalition with Olaf Scholz. They're politically closer. But the Free Democrats are keener on the Conservatives. Their leader, Christian Lindner, wants his party and the Greens to decide together which way they'll go. Angela Merkel is known to be looking forward to getting out of the driving seat. But coalition negotiations are going to take time. It could be weeks, months perhaps, before she can finally hand over the keys to the German Chancellery. Jenny Hill, BBC News, Berlin.
Well, let's go straight to my colleague now in Berlin, Damien McGuinness, who joins us live from there. And Damien, I mean, as we were just hearing there, this thing could take months.
Yeah, that's right. The voting's over, Yalda, but really the political wrangling is beginning. And to look at really how that's affecting various parts of the population, joining me now is political commentator Farhad Firmalgani. Farhad, tell me, when we think of Germany, there's traditional idea that it's a white country, but in fact, a quarter of people in Germany have a minority background. How engaged have they been in this whole election process?
That's right, Damien. I mean, half of them, like 50% of them, like 10 million voters, they are people from a minority background who voted probably for progressive parties. So what they want usually is easier access to citizenship. A new thing which is coming up, they want a ministry for their topics, like a ministry for migration, integration and refugee topics. And another very important demand is always stronger anti-discrimination laws. So you can probably say that the turnout of these voters is equal to the turnout of voters without a minority background.
But are they all involved in the political process? I mean, do they all have a vote?
Yeah, as I said, half of them are able to vote, and the other half no. And therefore, easier access to German citizenship is one of their foremost demands.
Has the idea or the issue of multiculturalism and minority rights featured much in the campaign?
I would say it was a topic which was mentioned aside. Same happens actually also for foreign policy. So both topics were not really mentioned so often, but now it will clearly play a role in the coalition agreement, because if you see that the Liberals and the Green Party will be a foundation of this government, both of them are more open towards a multicultural society.
But of course they have different motivations, don't they?
Yeah, so the ones are on the economic side and the others are more on equal rights side.
Okay, so this could be a sense of commonality when it comes to migration.
Yeah, because at the moment they are looking for commonalities, and they both agree. I mean, probably the German employee agency says that Germany needs around 500,000 foreign workers every year coming to Germany. So this could be an important point of agreement.
That's why the pro-business liberals want migrants.
Exactly.
And then for the Greens, it's more of a humanitarian issue, I suppose.
Exactly.
And what are people with minority backgrounds looking for then in the next government? Because we have two ways it could go, don't we? A conservative-led government or a centre-left-led government. What would be better for people with minority backgrounds?
Probably a progressive government, that's clear.
Centre-left.
Yeah, centre-left. And that's also the most probable outcome because the Conservatives lost heavily in the vote.
And so what will they do in concrete terms then?
Well, one point could be easier access to citizenship. One point could be easier access to Germany and to migrate to Germany. One could be maybe stronger anti-discrimination laws. And one demand from the associations is always that they want to have that ministry. So this could be also a probable outcome.
Okay, so lots still to talk about, really.
Exactly.
Coalition negotiations.
Thank you, Damien.
Yeah.